Now, did you know there was a time in history when Christmas was banned? The celebration was actually outlawed in Boston, Massachusetts from, 1659 to 1681. It was banned, wasn't allowed. Protestant reformists viewed it as pagan, a pagan ritual, and believed it dishonored God and made a mockery of their religion. Yeah, sure enough. The Pilgrims would have nothing to do with this pagan celebration when it was first introduced. And what really will blow your mind is this. If we could go back 500 years, something like that, no such celebration existed. Now get that. I mean, think about that. If we could just go back in a time machine about 500 years ago, this celebration did not exist. Christmas. All right, let's ask a question. How would you, if you're a Christian, how would you celebrate Jesus' birthday before there was ever a Christmas holiday? Would you celebrate it the same way it's being celebrated right now? You know, chances are, if you're sincere, now let me put quotes around that, if you are a sincere Christian, you would probably say, you know, yeah, I would do it quite differently. I think it's become too materialistic. It's just, and I see what you're saying. It's really not all about Jesus. I mean, you know, and you would do it differently. So how would you celebrate Jesus' birthday before there was ever a Christmas? Because like I said, if we could go back 500 years ago, there wasn't any Christmas celebration. Okay, where did Christmas actually originate from? Well, can we find it in the Bible? Well, yes, no, but actually we can find the warning about how this holiday came about in the Bible. Now, Deuteronomy 12 and verse 30, God is speaking to the Israelites and he says, now look, when you come into the land that I'm going to give you, take heed to thyself that you be not snared by following them. Now, who's he talking about? Well, he's talking about the pagan nations around them. In other words, Israel would go in there and conquer nations. And he says, now, when you come into this land, don't be snared by following them. Let's continue on. After that, they be destroyed from before thee. And that you inquire not after their gods, saying, well, how did these nations serve their gods? Even so will I do likewise. In other words, you conquer a nation, and God's warning is this: don't come into that nation and say, how do you worship your God? You know, we're asking the pagans this. Oh, that's a neat idea. That's cool. I like that. We'll incorporate that into our worship of our God. God says, don't do it. Don't go there. Don't do that. Deuteronomy 12 and verse 32. What things soever I command you, observe to do, that you shall not add thereto nor diminish from it. In other words, don't come up with your own concoction on how to worship God. Don't come up with your own ideas of what you think is pleasing to God. That's what the warning is. Again, you come in there and God warns Israel. He says, look, don't you do it. Don't go in there and say, well, how do these other nations worship their God? We're going to do it the same way that they did it. Now,
check us out on the web at isthatreallyinthebible.com.